Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawud from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, double honors to the apostles and the elders of great mills on the top of this truth and that rule well. And salutations to you, Akim, pushing this truth with sincerity on the four corners of the earth. And I want to get into this here lesson. It kind of stemmed from a video I was watching earlier today from one of the brothers from the actual camp that I'm in GMS Tampa Bay 07. He goes by the name of Ariyah, okay, from the channel GMS 13 Rulership. All right, he posted a video. Now, also, there's other brothers in GMS going into this as well, dealing with, I don't know if it was a commercial or video clip that Nate and IUIC put together, where, it started out, Wake Up Israel, that video, And, the brother was going into, that whole situation and stuff like that. So I just wanted to add on to some, add on to a piece of that, because there's some people that might be like, why y'all going in on homeboy and this and that, why y'all dealing with that? But at the same time, you get mad if somebody goes into your own personal life, What is the difference between, somebody's personal life, more or less to say, and certain things, and things dealing with this truth, Because at the end of the day, he's dealing with people's souls, Like we read in Ezekiel 37, the book. Let me just grab that, because I mean it is going right into where we're going at. Whoa, what happened here? What was I looking for? Verse, yeah. 17, I think. No. Salakia. Give me 1 second. Oh, no, this is not what I'm looking for. Hold up. Salakia, brother. What am I looking for? Ezekiel 3 and 7. I think it's 17. Con, right here. This is Ezekiel chapter 3 and 17. It says, Son of man, I've made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. Okay, so this is why we out on the highways and the byways telling you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments, That's why, you hear brethren talking about if you keep doing X, Y, and Z, you're going to get put to death. Okay, this is the warning from the Most High. Okay, it says, verse 18, When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked ways, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Okay, so nevertheless, that's pretty much where we want to get there. It goes in, if you tell the wicked man more or less to turn from his ways and turn back, he could be forgiven, or if you don't tell him, and well, we just read that, but the part of the matter is like there's some danger impending, like the house on fire, and you didn't wake your brother up to tell your brother that the house is burning down and he didn't die in the damn house. You know what I'm saying? He was going to die anyway, but at the same fact, you didn't even try to give him warning. So really that death is going to be on your hand because you could have did something about that, And so this is the reason why we're going into this deal with Nate, And, this here really hit home to me after the whole Yaradan deal, over in at GMS ATL when that happened, because of the fact, I started thinking about a lot of this stuff. It's like, there's a lot of men that look up to you, a lot of sick men, ill men, and dead men, Like when you first come into this, you sick, you destroyed, And if you're sincere, you're looking for some truth, And you go into the physician or the doctor, and you're going to go get healed. But the doctor in their case is over there taking your money and just giving you placebos, and you still dying, They just basically fleecing the flock, So that's a horrible thing, This is somebody's soul that you're messing with, especially if they seeking out truth, and you just want to fleece the flock, That's not a good deal. So this is dealing with Nate. So back in Ezekiel 3 and 18, it says, When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked ways to save his life. Yeah, like in the previous video he did, Nate and them did when they went down to Jamaica, talking about I think it was Daniel 12:1, talking about there's going to be a time like no other, you know, and this is going to be Jacob's trouble, you know. I got to get that for a prime example, you know, because this is you know a real serious matter, you know. This is Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. It says at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which stands for the children of thy people. Okay, so key words that standeth for the children of thy people. Okay, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even into that same time. So it's going to be the worst point, you know, worst point in history that has ever been, you know. But it's pertaining to a certain group of people. Okay, and it says even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that should be found written in the book. Okay, now you compare this up into Revelation, you know, it's the same deal, you know. Michael and his angels fought, and the devil and his angels fought, you know. And also in Jeremiah, talk about Jacob's trouble. That's exactly what this is talking about, Jacob's trouble, you know. But nevertheless, you know, in all these things, they pointing out the main character in this whole scenario is talking about the children of Israel. But Nate has it as talking about the time like never is going to be before. It's talking about World War III and the nukes coming down. Okay, and that's not what that's talking about. This, you know, this is talking about right before all that time. You know, you got the martial law and everything like that going off. So, you know, and then it is going to actually wax worse after that. But this is talking about you know, Jacob's trouble. You know, which we also read about. So this is being a prime example of what we're talking about over here in Ezekiel about you not warning the people and then they're gonna die. You know, these people, you got like martial law coming, you got this economic collapse coming, you got the RFID chip, the microchip. You know, you got all these things that you're gonna get put to death over, but yet he's not telling you about none of that stuff. You know, and then the only thing that can save you, you know, is the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Yahweh Wa Yahushua. You know, but he used to teach those names, and now he don't teach those names anymore, you know. So not only is he leading you down a path of death, he's not even giving you a safety line to get up out of that, you know. So this is why it's like super majorly important, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, these things are being, that this is being exposed, you know, because, you know, it's more or less like saying rebuking your brethren because you lead another brother astray, you know. So nevertheless, we got to call you out on that. You know, this ain't not necessarily like one of the brothers said, like, you know, nobody calling up the NYPD and telling on Nate, nothing like that. Like, nah. I mean, that's, you know, that's a little different. That's a man, you know, that's a little different, you know. But you over here fleecing the flock. Now we're gonna expose your ass over that because we dealing with this truth, and that's our deal, you know. But nevertheless, you know, I was just, you know, pondering about this stuff and the things that he's got going on. You know he's just sold out, you know. So I wanted to get something in the scriptures that basically is what he's going into, because a lot of people would ask, you know, people wonder why, you know, GMS gets on the IUIC, you know, or maybe it's just some, you know, bad brethren who fell out with each other from the One West deal. Like, no, that's not it at all, you know. It's just the pure facts of everything, you know. So we're gonna get another account in the scriptures to some of the things that's going on over there at IUIC, or with Nate. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1. I think it's verse 4 or 5. Oh no, verse 10. We'll start at 11. All right, this is First Maccabees 1 and chapter 1. First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Okay, so again, we're talking about Nate, you know, and this is exactly, you know, word for word what he's got going on over there. Okay, ironically, it was written about in the scriptures. You know, you're doing the same ass shit that you did in your past life. You know. First Maccabees 1 and 11 again. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow." Okay, and so let me keep reading. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Okay? Now, like I said, word for word, this is exactly what's going on over at, starting with Nate, what he's doing to IUIC, and, those people that's, watching, the hopeful elect that's, stumbled across his camp first, So it says, in those days went out wicked men of Israel, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Okay? So what covenant did Nate make with the heathen? Okay? He's got a 501c3 charter. Okay? Now, let me just keep going back. It says, so this device pleased them well. The certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. So more or less, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. So, basically, Nate with his 501c3, what is that entitled? So, in layman's terms, basically what that is it's like I don't know how to put it. When you get one of those things, for instance, in the church, okay, so it's basically for nonprofit organizations, all right? But how churches use it is the fact of, especially so-called Negro, Latino, or just I know about Negro churches, because that's where I grew up at, And those churches, they pass around that collection plate multiple times, right? And then they have these super mega churches. They pass around that collection plate. They even got ATMs in there, okay? So these people are bringing in, on a weekly basis, like at a small little church, like a real small church, that pastor bringing in thousands of dollars every week, And if you think about that pay rate, that pay scale, like, you bringing in, let's just say a pastor of a small church bringing $1,000 every Sunday. You only worked one day out of the week, and probably only about 4 hours out of the day, and you'd have made a whole $1,000. That's a really good income, okay? Not only on that, you don't have the government taxing you because you tax exempt for your nonprofit, which, so the church is looking at this as, okay, we about to get caked up. We about to get some money, and we're going to be tax deductible, or we're not going to be paying taxes on it, So we're going to be just, racking up this money, especially when these people are, when people are in a bad state already. They already vulnerable, or, when somebody's pretty much in a bad state, something bad didn't happen to them, you know what I'm saying, like they depressed, or they got all kind of fucked up shit going on in their life, and you just go in and you take advantage of these people who are already coming to some place for help, It's like if you are a damn doctor and you're trying to sell some whatever kind of drugs just to profit yourself, you see somebody that's like sick and in dire need of help, and he's just looking for help from anybody, and you're like, well, I'm a doctor, I can help you. Or he asks you, you're not really trying to help him, but you're like, oh, I can get some money off of him. Here, take this. You give him something, you don't even know what the hell it is, but you're getting you some money. Same with Nate, or these 501c3s when it comes to churches, So now, dealing with those things there, the government has certain, criteria or boundaries, or certain things you can and can't talk about, So, and the government also uses churches, especially in the Negro, like I said, I can only speak for them for this, topic because that's where I grew up at, but he uses those churches or those pastors as pretty much like, in the olden times, governors over certain regions, like back in the day, like in Yahushua's time, they had Pontius Pilate being a governor over Jerusalem, but he wasn't the so-called Caesar at the time, or the ruler over all of Rome at the time, He was just the ruler over one little area, So it's like having managers up under a general manager, up under a CEO or type of thing, delegate power a little better. So, nevertheless, these governments, or this government, uses the Negro church or the Negro pastors to basically be governors, smaller governors over smaller regions over the black community, because the majority of the so-called black people, they go to church and they're going to listen to whatever the pastor say, no matter what he say, a couple of years ago, they were telling you that homosexuality was wrong, which it is. Now, fast forward to today, they having homosexuals in the church and trannies and stuff like that, and they tell you it's okay. The people don't see nothing wrong with it, They be like, all right, ain't no big deal. You know, just last year, the year before that, we was completely against this, but now it's just on the bandwagon, you know. But nevertheless, you know, this 501c3 allows you to be tax deductible, so you can make you some money, but at the cost of what? We need you to push propaganda or hold back certain things so that the people don't know about it, you know. You can only talk about certain things, you can't talk about certain things, you know. Inside those churches with the 501c3s, you can't speak about the RFID chip being the mark of the beast, or martial law coming, or race wars coming, or that the Lord only loved Israel. You know, he don't like none of the other nations like that, you know. Or that Esau is the so-called white man, and that Esau going into slavery. Okay, you can't teach about none of those things. Okay, you can't teach that a homosexual need to be put to death. Okay, this is why you see in these so-called Christian churches and these Christian how do you say, these things that are pretty much in league with Christianity, more or less to say, being attacked by certain things. And this is because, like, when you really dig into it, these people took deals some kind of way that they said, basically, we didn't bought you out to where, you know, like in the churches, you can't speak on these things. As long as you don't speak on these things, you can make as much money off these people as you want. The moment you do this, then you got to pay the cost, you know. So, you know, homeboy is pretty much doing that to his people, you know. He's not telling the people about certain truths, and like the race wars, the nuclear destruction, you know, and also just look at their congregation. You know, they, like the scriptures say, they're going to be eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage. That's what they're doing. But that's more or less talking about the whole world. But just look at IUIC. If the whole world's doing it and they're doing the same thing, then, like the scriptures say, come out of her, my people. Okay? Over at GMS and the true men of the Lord, you know, and some of the other, you know, camps as well, you know, like Men of Valor and DTA, stuff like that, you know. Those men that's out there doing certain things, you know. You see us, we pretty much came out of this here world, you know. We don't agree with the things that's going on here. They tell you, hey, look, homosexuals can get married. We tell you, look, according to the most high law, homosexuals are supposed to be put to death. That shit is super wicked, you know. Telling you that thermonuclear missiles is coming, things like that, you know. So we separate from the world because the world is not in agreement with us. But yet they over there doing the same thing that the world is doing, you know, eating, drinking, marrying, and giving into marriage, you know. They over here building up communities, marrying off women and shit like that, you know. But it's supposed to be a time preparing for war and stuff like that. But he making money off of them, you know, because they're already in a hurt state. They don't know where else to go. The church didn't let them down, so you can come on over here, you know, and soothe them and take all their money from them, you know. But, you know, that's just the beginning stage, you know. So when you really go into this, you know, we're going to read about all the things that where it turns into, you know, what it turns into. But, I mean, you don't even have to really read the scriptures. Just look around, you know. You see what's going on. You go into these churches, like when you read in Ezekiel chapter 8, you know, Ezekiel chapter 8, that's another good one. Talk about these Christian churches and how all these pastors pretty much are naying at his neighbor's wife, you know. Y'all all over there trying to sleep with the married women inside the church and stuff like that, you know. But it's nothing but pure wickedness. But nevertheless, we're going to get back into this here scripture because, like I said, all this stuff is word for word the things that he did or he's still doing. Okay, so keep in mind that what we read in Ezekiel chapter 3 about, you know, I set you to be a watchman over the children of Israel, you know, and you got to go warn the wicked to stop doing that wicked shit and come back, you know. But if you don't warn him, he's still going to die, but the blood going to be on your hand, you know. But it says, First Maccabees 1 and 11. Or actually, we read that. Let's go down to verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Okay, and made themselves uncircumcised. Okay, and being uncircumcised in this scenario, obviously you can't go from being circumcised to uncircumcised, but fleshly. But in this scenario, being circumcised is more or less being cut off from the world, you know, sticking to the law, statutes, and commandment. Now, going back over to being uncircumcised, you basically joining yourself back into the world, you know. So it says, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant. Okay, and what was in the holy covenant? You follow these law, statutes, and commandments that I gave you, and to this day I'll set you up on high, but if not, I'm going to punish your ass for it, you know. And not only that, you know, looking into the law, statutes, and commandments, okay. Certain things, and this is one of the big things that he be pushing off, you know. Keep the laws, you know. But at the same time, yo, you making a league and a covenant with the heathen. You know what I'm saying? And you how do you say? You leading the sheep astray. You know. You scattering what the Most High is trying to gather. You know, you going contrary to the Most High. It says, and they made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. Yeah, joining yourself to the heathen and a 501c3, which is a tool for the U.S. government. Okay, which that same U.S. government is your oppressor. That's what's oppressing you. You know, Esau and his government. Okay. Let me jump down. I think it's verse 41. Alright, so now, like we read up here at the top, it says, look, a lot of them forsook the covenant, you know, and they made league basically with, we read verse 15 again. It says, they made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. Now we're going to get into this mischief that they got into. Okay, so they then forsook the law, statutes, commandments, and decided to go basically, in today's terms, go get a 501c3. Became in league with Esau. Okay. This is verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus, or Antiochus, wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Same thing Esau doing. And by being one people, it ain't saying one race, but more or less one ideology. Okay? You can't have in Esau's kingdom Israelites preaching that they Israelites, and Esau is Esau, and Esau going into slavery, when in Esau's kingdom, he's like, no, we the white man, y'all the black man, we y'all God, y'all our slaves, and we're going to just rule forever. And you can be homosexual. Okay? So basically, like how we read here, it says that all his people should be one people. Okay, it's not talking about a race, but they should all have the same mentality. Look, you're going to follow, everybody should believe homosexuals should have rights, and you know, that they're righteous and stuff like that. Everybody, you know. This is why you start to see these hate speech and stuff like that coming up. They molding you into that same thing, you know. But nevertheless, it says, and everyone, verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. Okay? So they forsook the holy covenant and basically went and got licensed to go after the heathen. Okay? And so what did they start doing? They consented to his religion. Okay? We didn't have a religion. We had law, statutes, commandments. But now, now you want to go deal with Christianity now, huh? Okay? Now you want to go get the things that, you know, sacrificing unto these idols, swine's flesh and shit like that, you know? And bowing down into Cesare Borgia and Peter and Paul, these statues. And those aren't really even, like, when you go into them, it's like the same thing with the Yahushua picture or Cesare Borgia picture, you know? You thinking that that's supposed to be an image of Jesus, but that's actually a picture of an actual person, and that was supposed to be his likeness. It's just that, you know, they gave you a whole different name and narrative of who it was, you know, and you just believe that, you know. But nevertheless, verse 43 says again, yea, many of the Israelites consented, okay, or agreed, or became in league with, yea, many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king hath sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. Okay? Same deal, just like how Esau did, you know. You go into these Jake neighborhoods and he's going to go get in league with all these churches. Look, we'll give you some money to build you a church. You know what I'm saying? You can get you a big congregation. You know what I'm saying? You can collect tithes and offerings 3 times for each service that you have. You can have as many services as you want, you know, throughout the week. Sometimes twice on a certain day, you know. You can have all them services, collect your tithes and your offerings, and you can collect all that. And you don't really have to report that to the IRS. You can just take it all untaxable, you know. So basically, this is the same thing going on here. It says, for the king has sent, verse 44, for the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Okay? And so, just like right now, you know, you got this truth coming out over here at GMS and stuff like that, but what does Esau do? He set up groups like these other groups like IUIC, you know, and ISUPK. You know, ISUPK gonna have us looking like goddamn terrorists and shit out there at the shooting range with guns and shit like that. Like, yo, they don't got no faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm waiting on that day when the Most High put that power, the spiritual power on us, you know. And then with these bare hands, we gonna break these heathen, you know. I don't need Esau's sword. I just want the power of the Most High, you know. But nevertheless, it says, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, and set up altars and groves and chapels of idols. Okay, that's the chapels of idols. Just walk into a Catholic church and you'll see exactly what they're talking about. The chapels of idols. Okay, and sacrifice swan's flesh and unclean beasts. Yeah, you go to a so-called Negro church and go after the church service is over, go home with just about anybody at the church, somebody grandmama, and see what they having for dinner. Swan's flesh. They having some kind of damn pork, you know. It says, verse 48, that they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable in all matter and uncleanliness and profanation. So yeah, over in IUIC, you're raising those people up over there to be community builders and stuff like that, and build up here in Babylon. For what? So they can get married? You marrying these people off? For what? So they can have kids? Then what are you going to do with their kids? Are you going to raise them up the same way that they live in now? So if you was to fast forward that and everybody was to grow up and be under IUIC, where would we be right now? You know, if you was to fast forward that, you know? We'd all be just doing that and not really knowing nothing, you know? Looking real good for a man, but the Most High still ain't in the picture, you know? So, you know, that's just pure wickedness, you know? But nevertheless, verse 49, like I just was going into, verse 49, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. Yeah, they gonna forget the law, like when Nate used to teach that the name of the Most High and his son was Yahweh, and his son's name was Yahweh Shah, but now he say Most High and Christ. Okay, like, you know, that Christ dude, we had already known about that, but we were supposed to be baptized and wake up and put away that old man and become a new creature. But now you're trying to kill the new creature and bring us back into the old vessel. Like, what kind of shit is that, you know? It says, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. In the self-same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Same shit Esau do today, and this was going on over in IUIC and ISUPK. It says, in the self-same manner he wrote to his whole kingdom. Okay, that's the point here. And appointed overseers over all the people. Okay, Nate, Satan, and General Yohana and shit like that, you know, leading these people astray. Okay, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law. So they commanded evils in the land. Yeah. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wherever they could flee for succor. Yeah, and you know, basically that's it's basically like how you say, all these not scoffers, but these other camps, they try to rebuke us. You know, these are the things that they actually trying to do. You know, they just trying to shut us up so they can get more people to feed they belly. You know, with their income. It says I'll just read this all the way through, so, like, again, so you can see kind of where it leads to. It says, now the 15th day of the month of Shalu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and built the idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the door of the house of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any book of his testament, or if any committed to the law that the king commanded, the king's commandment was that they should be put to death. And that's almost akin to what Nate is doing, you know, talking about, look, if you preaching in the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shah, you going off, you wicked. You know, you can't be a part of us, that type of stuff. And he know that that's the name because he used to teach that, you know. But this is like how they said, look, when they found them, when they had rent in pieces the book of the law, which they found, and burnt them with fire, okay, and whosoever was found with the book of the testament, basically they're going to be put to death. So they're talking about people who going into the scriptures, you know, and dealing with Nate now. One thing they do is they go into the law. That's one thing they always pushing is the law. However, they don't really go into nothing else like the prophecies and things like that. So basically they're ripping the book up, you know. They give you the pieces that they want instead of the whole roll, you know. It says, thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many was found in the cities. Now the 20th day of the month did they sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Yahweh. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be uncircumcised, and hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit many in Israel was fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat the unclean thing, wherefore rather to die, that they might not be defiled with any meats, that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. So, basically this is talking about, by threat of force of being put to death. A lot of people converted over, But nevertheless, what Nate got going on, man, he's slowly but surely selling everybody out. Giving them, all the people in his camp, they government officials, they addresses and stuff like that, making it easier for them. It's a win-win situation for Nate, He getting paid off by the government for one. And when shit go to hit the fan, and then his congregation, start waking up and want to turn on him, it's gonna be too late, because they're gonna already be sold into that trap bag. They're gonna be caught in the snare already. Lord willing, I ain't even gotta say Lord willing, but the Lord gonna take, if he got any elect over there, he gonna take them out. Thus saith the Lord. He gonna scatter all of them. Ain't none of them be plucked up out of his hand. But nevertheless, verse 61. And they hanged the infants about the neck, and rifled the houses, and slew them that circumcised them. Howbeit many in Israel was fully resolved, and confirmed themselves not to eat the unclean thing. Wherefore, rather to die, than that they might not defile themselves, or be defiled with meats, that they might not profane the holy covenant. So they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. And so, as a long story short, how Nate, is doing, like I said up at the top, they went with the heathen and basically got a license to do after the heathen's ordinances, And not only that, we seen what Antiochus or Antiochus pretty much did, went through after they had then got used to tearing apart the Bible and stuff like that, and coming up under their new religion, and they knew all this and that. He decides to implement his new religion and all these new idols, and uniform that all the way out, because he knows that it's demonic, for one, and has mind control over our people. So he controls them with that. So, that's just what the fuck he was doing. But you see at the end of it all, how it all ended. They wound up going through house to house, killing anybody who had a Bible, anybody who was into the scripts, and then the mothers of the babies, and the babies of the ones that the mothers tried to, either hide them or give them to somebody else so they could be raised right, That's what Esau did. And the same thing the same thing is going on over here with Nate, He's basically doing the same ass shit, but he's basically like the middleman between Esau and us. Esau done paid him off, or I would assume that Esau done paid him off to do what he's doing, But it's a very a very important, or a real deep topic. It's not just I want to just rant about this guy, or I just don't like this guy personally, or whatever, whatnot. It's just the fact of what we read here in let me get it real quick, and we'll close out after this. Ezekiel 3:18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked ways to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but the blood of Allah require at your hand. Yeah, so again, this is what Nate is failing to see here, in the scriptures. Like, yo, man, you got all these people in your camp, you tell them not to watch GMS videos and things like that. Like, yo, man, why don't you have faith in what you're teaching? You should let them watch GMS videos, because if you got the true doctrine and everything you got going is true, and we telling lies, then you shouldn't have to worry about nothing like that, Nevertheless, that's just how you get down, But again, it's real important about this whole fact, because you got young, destroyed, dead Jake walking around right now, who's earnestly looking for some kind of physician to help them, And then they go over there to Nate, and now you got to buy courses, You already fucked up. You ain't got no money for nothing extra, Scriptures say, buy this, roughly paraphrasing, buy this truth and sell it not, you know? Like, yo, man, you might have to invest into this, but you shouldn't be charging folks for breakdowns and stuff like that. You know, that's just wicked, you know? But nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and close out here. It went on a little too long, but I just wanted to get that, you know, because as I was watching that video and other brothers going into that video, you know, a couple of scriptures came into mind, you know, the Ezekiel 3 and then also over in First Maccabees chapter 1, you know? The same thing happened in First Maccabees, and then, you know, it's just a repetition, you know? And like the scriptures also say, you are of your father, the devil, you know? And, you know, basically Nate's just following after hand joining in hand with the wicked, you know? But he's going to still be punished, you know? There's a lot of scriptures going into stuff like that. But nevertheless, if Nate was wise, he would see what he's doing, you know? But he's getting destroyed. Lord willing that, you know, that the elect come up out of all of that mess over there. But we're going to go ahead and close out this lesson with this. I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me to say the truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, brother, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.